Welcome to the Don't Judge, Just Love podcast.
Where we talk about all the things with no judgment.
That's right.
Only love. We're so awkward.
No, we're not. Maybe we are. We're pretty awkward.
A little bit. These beginnings will get less awkward. Maybe not, though, actually. Possibly not.
For your sake, hopefully not.
We can't make that promise.
So what are we talking about today?
What do you want to talk about?
I think we should talk about, we have gotten this question we've received this question from many followers, right?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we were most excited about starting a podcast for is having the opportunity to dive a little deeper into frequently asked questions that we get from followers on my Instagram account, @Shannon Willardson, shameless plug. Kidding. But seriously, no, but it's true. Like when I'll do question boxes in my Insta stories, and I feel like the fraction of questions that I get to is really pathetic because it's deceivingly time consuming to give thoughtful answers to a lot of the questions that get submitted. So we thought this would be a really cool place to be able to answer more of those questions and, dig a little deeper into a lot of those things. And to Chase's point, one of the questions that we have gotten a lot is, what is it, Chase?
What do you guys fight about?
What do we fight about? What do Chase and I fight about? A little window into our marriage. What do we fight about? Nothing. Do we fight?
No.
We never fight.
I actually think when we first got married, there was a book that I think it was one of your relatives gave us that talked about how all couples fight and how to fight.
How it's like a healthy thing to fight.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, see, I like that. See, we're just healthy.
I read a little bit of the book. I didn't read all of it.
Cool. Well, that explains everything. Cool, Chase.
I don't even remember the title of the book. I'll try to find it.
But yeah, we do fight. We're a normal couple.
What's kind of exciting about this episode, though, is we're not really sure what the other one is going to say.
Yeah, we decided we'd make this fun by taking turns asking the other person what we fight about. And I'm really interested to see how...
Am I going first
or
are
Chase
you?
Chase is going to answer this. I think we'll have you go first. Okay. Chase, what do we fight about the most? What would you say we fight about the most?
I don't know about the most, but something that we fight about is time and how we view time. So Shannon is what I would like to call a maximalist, in that she tries to fit as many things as she can into the time that's allotted, which is great because it creates a very rich life. And it also makes it so that we're often...
Wouldn't it be cute if this was your attitude when I actually was running late? Like you thought it was like sweet and... These are not the types of things he says when we actually are running late, just so we're clear. So we're keeping it real here. Let's keep it real here.
Yes. So we often are late to things, or we're rushing to get to the airport on time, or like running through the airport, or like rushing to an appointment, or everything. Sometimes it just all seems like a rush. And I think how we view time is a little bit different in that in growing up, if you're not 10 minutes early, I felt like I was late.
Chase's mom was raised by a military officer.
Yeah.
And it shows. She is incredibly punctual, organized, on top of things. Chase's mom is all the things that I'm not and probably never will be. I'll just say that. She's like the unicorn that I will never probably quite live up to, but I'm always trying. But yeah, so that's Chase's frame of reference with time. And then there's me. I
remember it was on our third date, and I think at that moment I realized she might take a little bit more time to get ready, but it was on our third date. Do you remember our third date? It was our third date.
The one where I fell asleep.
Where you fell asleep, and I knocked on the door. And I thought, like, I was like, I've been ghosted before, but I thought
You
I was
knocked
like,
on the door and
I
nobody
knocked on
came.
the door and nobody came, and I knocked like 4 times. And then I like called her as I was walking to the car, and she's like, hello, hello, like with a tired voice. And anyways, she's like, oh, yeah, I still want to go on the date. I'll just get ready. And so I went up there, and I thought she would just be like super quick, but I think it was like an hour
No, it
later.
wasn't.
but it's okay, because I think as the country song goes, what is it? She was worth the wait, or waiting on a woman, and she's totally worth the wait.
Heck yes. That's good.
So time, I would say, is one of the things that we fight about.
All right, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. But I am getting better, for the record.
She is. She actually is. And her family made a comment about that on a recent family cruise that we went on, where they said, you have improved. So
they actually did say that. And that's saying a lot, because my family, they are very complimentary, but only when they mean it. They're also brutally honest. So
in the best way.
They would not have said that if it weren't true.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Hashtag evolving.
So I'm really curious / nervous. What are you going to say?
Okay, my turn. So here's the thing with Chase and I. Here's my thing that I'm going to say. And then we'll share some more, because we're just, for the record also, Chase and I, before we started this episode, and really before we started this podcast, this really applies to every episode, but we made a decision that we would be like brutally, painfully honest in our podcast in general, including this episode. So that's our commitment to the listeners, that whatever it is we talk about, we will always keep it super, super real, regardless of how vulnerable it may make us feel. That's kind of the point. That's how we all connect. That's how we realize that we're all normal in our imperfections, right? And so that
It's
goes.
quite the preamble, so I'm excited about what this one's going to be.
That goes for this too. I would say the biggest thing that Chase and I are working on right now is just not being so freaking ornery with each other. Seriously, we really don't I wouldn't say we get in very many fights. Like, honestly, I can probably count on one hand how many times I would call it a legit fight. I don't know. Have we ever gotten in that's a very, people define fights differently, and there's a big spectrum with that, I would say. But we really don't fight that often. It's more that we can just get kind of bickery with each other, where we're just a little bit edgy. Our responses maybe aren't as patient or sweet. It's almost like we just get kind of irritable with each other. The thing that makes me feel, which I'm assuming is pretty normal, guys, listeners, back me up here. Is that normal?
Someone gets hangry, maybe, or...
Are you talking about yourself?
Yeah.
That's so hangry. Anyway.
She's trying to start are you trying to start a fight right now?
Yeah, should we gonna fight right now on this podcast? Then people can just see it in IRL. But no, I feel like that's fairly normal. The thing though that I don't like about it, that we don't like about it, is that I feel like sometimes we respond to each other in a way that we would not respond to other people.
That's true.
It's we'll kind of hold it together, regulate our emotions for everyone else, like the kids, family, friends, people we're around. And then when it comes to each other, it's there's nothing left in the tank. And it kind of, that's where the impatience comes out, the irritability. And I don't like that. I think that's a very human nature thing, that often the people that we treat the worst, unfortunately, are the people that we love the most and that we're the closest to, probably because it feels like our safest space. It's the people that we are the most comfortable with. But that sucks, man. I hate that. So that is something that we have acknowledged a lot, all the time, because it happens all the time. It's we do okay, and then I swear, as the day goes on, man, evening time, nighttime, they're not our finest hours. I'm just gonna be honest. It's as the day goes on, We're just getting like a little crankier and crankier and crankier. Just keeping it real. So we're working on that. But to me, that is probably like our biggest thing in our marriage. Like we could just be a little sweeter to each other. Be sweeter to me, honey. Gosh. Jeez.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so am I going next?
Yep, your turn.
So what is another thing?
What's something else that we fight about, Chase?
I think the next one would be sex.
Oh, hot dang. We're going there, huh? Okay.
I mean, have you seen her? No, I think it's a pretty common thing in marriage, right? I think, libido for different partners can be up and down depending on age and time of year and all sorts of things and
gender.
Yeah.
Just
totally.
kidding. That's stereotyping, I realize, but
yeah.
Let's be honest.
But yeah, so I think that would be the thing is the frequency.
Chase just wants to tap this all the time. And I'm like,
with
bro,
which we have sex.
I want to tap that too, but just maybe slightly less often.
So, yeah, I think that would be probably another thing is, how frequently.
How often do you want it?
I mean, as often as you.
Should we discuss this right here?
Yeah, I guess this is great. Just
so
twice
awkward.
A day.
Oh my
just
gosh.
kidding, just kidding.
Be for real. That's like first week of marriage stuff.
No. But yeah, I think that's something that we talk about and we continue to
I
work
keep
on
you satisfied.
What? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. I'm just kidding.
Did that get awkward for the audience?
I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah.
Won't be, not the first time, won't be the last.
For sure. What's your next one?
All right. What else do we fight about? We can definitely fight about not so much the kids. Like, I feel like Chase and I tend to be pretty aligned on how we want to parenting approaches, things like that. It's more so just all of the responsibilities that come with the kids, with kids in general. But then I feel like with our kids, with the girls and their medical complexities, there's like this added layer because there's just a lot. There's a lot to do. And it's freaking exhausting. I'm not going to lie. Here we are trying to have more kids because we're insane. But
that was pretty. Sounded nice.
Thanks. But yeah, I feel like that is something that we can, butt heads about. Just, we had to make a decision early on in our marriage that we were going to really try to be committed to not like keeping score and not kind of do this like, tally of who's doing what, when, because I feel like after we had Jack for a minute there, it was kind of like that. And we had to have this like come to Jesus talk of like, whoa, this cannot be our dynamic because that will get ugly really fast.
We were both working at the time. We both had,
we both had full-time jobs. I mean, and that's still the case. Like we both work full-time. And I think that's part of it too, is that, when you're both working, when you're both like, it's a lot of like, we're doing a lot of the same things. And so it feels, I don't know, not that it's ever more cut and dry necessarily because like gender roles aren't really a thing anymore. But I think because we both have in our marriage, we have always both worked full time. It's just been a little harder to kind of like draw the line of like who does what, so to speak. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. To be honest, I think it's a lot more modern and it's a lot more evolved because the way that we've approached it as a result is just like we really tag team everything.
All hands on deck. Everyone helps.
Yeah, I mean, for real. And Chase has been so great about, he's so supportive of the work that I do. He works for, he has a corporate job, so it's more of a like standard 9-to-5 type of, not that it ever, like there's definitely times when it's outside of those parameters, but like it's a little bit more of a standard kind of conventional work
Mm-hmm.
time frame, if you will, whereas mine is absolutely not. And the nature of what I do with content creation is just like it's like it just never stops. It's around the clock. You always feel behind. There's always something that you feel like you still need to do or should have done and you didn't. And he's been really, really great about supporting me in that by like stepping in and doing things for the kids. Like he does our nighttime feeds. It's never been a situation after we had kids. Like he was always down to be the one to like get up with them. And honey, I just really want to thank you for that. Because
Thank you.
You're just a real gem. I really like you, okay? I do. I do really
Well,
like
thank
you.
you.
And I
Feel the
love
same.
you. And I also love you. But I also like you, and that's a big deal.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. But all of that to say, all of that being said, it's not like we never butt heads about it or get ornery about it. Like, you know, can't you do it? You know, like that definitely happens. So I would say that's one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more.
For both of us?
No, for you.
For me?
Did you start?
I did.
Oh, did I end?
Yeah.
Are we done?
I don't know.
Do we want to stop there?
Do you want to do another one?
Do one more. What is one more thing?
I think we'd both agree on this one. It would be money.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah. These are real groundbreaking things.
Yeah. I mean, again,
Sex,
I think
kids, and money. I think those are like the number one things
I
for
actually
every
do. I think
couple.
that's like what comes up in marriage all the time. Yeah. I think, money for us, we just view it differently.
It's just that I'm really good with money.
You are.
I could not even say that with a straight face. I'm really good with money, and Chase is so bad with it. No, it's a little bit the opposite.
I think it's just how we view money. And think.
What does that mean?
No, I think just how we've grown up and our view of money, how we save money, how we spend money. Is that not?
I feel like Chase is trying to find a nice way to say Shannon likes to spend money. I like to save money.
I think we both like to spend money. It's just on different things. I spend money on different things.
Chase is
than
like,
Shannon spends money on.
It's so annoying. You're just sometimes, yeah.
But no, and I think also
Chase spends money on books and what else? Books and
there's like other like education programs or like fitness stuff.
He's not materialistic
experiences.
at all.
I do spend money on experiences. Like for example, this year.
And in my defense,
that's right.
The things that Chase spends money on, it's like he won't buy anything for like 6 months, 8 months, like a hot minute. And then all of a sudden he'll go like sign up for some like race or some like, you know, personal development experience that's like, I don't know, lots and lots of dollars. And I'm like, okay, well, we're even now, okay? Because
She's probably right. She's probably right.
I am a worldly Wanda. I do love my things. I mean,
you don't want to miss out on a deal, right?
That's right. Or
there's
like
always deals going on.
Oh my gosh,
that's how it works.
Do you want to throw down right now?
No.
I will go right now.
But I think recently, right? We talked about having discussions. It's funny, not trying to be cheesy and bringing it back to don't judge, just love. But I think that's really what we strive to do with money as well.
We had this breakthrough that's what we needed to do. Because historically, another part of our like what would spur disagreements about money was that it's not something that we like to talk about. Like we kind of avoid talking about it. I especially, like for me, it's a total, I just want to bury my head about it. I don't want to address it. And we kind of had this breakthrough moment recently where we realized that, for me at least, the reason for that is I constantly feel kind of like this guilt and shame about how I spend money, regardless of what it is. I mean, how I spend like any money. You know, it could be like on my credit card is a whole bunch of things.
Do you have a credit card? Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
I was totally kidding.
How dare you? Yeah, no, like the credit card statement could be all things that we both had agreed on, knew about, but somehow yet like seeing it all there, it would just be this instant like, ugh, like feeling guilty. And Chase having like sticker shock, like, ugh, you know? And I realized that that was what was causing me. It was like the shame was what was causing me to like want to avoid discussing the issue to begin with in general. So we concluded that if we could remove the shame from it and have just a nice, emotionally regulated, don't judge, just love type of conversation, then maybe we could remove that.
That's right.
So we're going to try.
We're working on that.
We'll report back on that. We're evolving there.
We definitely are. So we'd love to hear, though, from you. What are some of the things that you guys fight about?
Make us feel better. What do you guys fight about?
Do you fight about the same things, different things?
What
are
do
there
you fight
silly
about?
things that
We
you
want
fight
to
about?
know. Please validate that we're not the only couple out there who gets in our little disagreements. And let us know what the things are, because now I want to hear the tea. You can do that on my Instagram at Shannon Willardson. Send me DMs. You can do it. Are comments on a podcast a thing?
Mm-hmm.
You can do it in the comments on our podcast via Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can do it on YouTube if you're watching our podcast episodes via
Family Made
YouTube channel, or is
Family
it
Made Media,
or the Willardson family?
Willardson Family.
Willardson family. Man, one of these days I'm going to learn my handles. Willardson family on YouTube, and we would love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
Let's chat it out. Let's chat about what we fight about.
Thanks for joining us on this episode.
Thanks,
on
guys.
the Don't Judge, Just Love podcast. See you soon.